Yo, what is going on, guys? Aspect Game once again in Star Technology. This time around, we are massively upgrading our base with a lot of simple setups. I've gotten a bit on my comfort zone to research some of the create tech in this pack, and it's actually insanely good. I'll be making systems that solve our power and resource problems, and basically get to the end of LV in one shot. So let's get started. I am back in StarTech. I've been working a little bit in the create area. Not too much, but I realized there's some really OP recipes that are not just for bulk blasting, but also bulk haunting and bulk washing. So I set both of these up last night. The main thing that the soul campfire can do like this is it can make soul sand and blackstone. And for bulk washing, the main reason I built this was to process Lena. We can get sulfur out of this, and I believe silver as well. So it's pretty nice, actually. I've decided I'm going to continue rushing some progression, as we can see by the cobblestone floor. We'll get around to building something soon, but first I need to make a create tree farm. I did this once before, but I kind of forgot everything about it, to be honest. But after a long building session, I did figure it out again. Let's take a closer look at what we have here. As you can see, the machine is rotating on this mechanical bearing in the center, and we're going to stop it for a moment. I just lagged really hard when I did that. But yeah, we have a row of 5 mechanical saws on the front and 5 deployers on the back. It is important to filter the deployer with the sapling you want to place down, and it's also important that the saws are in the front. As you can see, the saws are going to move forward first and hit the trees, cut them down, and then the deployer makes a second pass and actually places the saplings on the dirt. I gave it a barrel for storage and then a portable storage interface to allow it to transfer items out. I did make a mistake at first. Your 2 portable storage interfaces have to be at least 1 block away from each other. They can't be touching. And then just make sure you glue all the components together so they'll actually travel with the machine. I will reinsert some saplings into this, and we're going to start it back up. I'm running at a pretty low RPM, but as you can see, raising the RPM will just basically make it cut the trees down faster. I think this is good enough for my purposes, so I'm not that worried about it. Once we drop the items off, they go down to a barrel, and then do another chute where they're sorted into different barrels. I'm saving all the items I make from the farm. You have a ton of logs here already. This barrel's full right now, which means that any excess logs are going to go into this drawer, which get transformed into charcoal by another simple encased fan setup. You may have noticed behind the tree farm there is a giant create steam boiler. That's how we're going to solve our power problems. There is a way to transform stress units into Greg-type power through 2 different conversions of energy units. That is what the carbon brush is. So you can build a coil of magnets around this copper wire, and it creates power for you. For the size of the steam engine that I'm making, I'm going to need 58 of these fluctuated magnetite blocks. It's not too hard to make, but you need overcharged gold and overcharged diamonds, which are just diamonds and gold in a polarizer. I'm getting pretty much all my gold from bulk washing, by the way, which is quite a lot. Resources in general are starting to become a bit of a problem, but we'll address that once I finish the setup. First, we need a 3x3 of basic burners filled with charcoal. On top of that is a 3x3x4 cube of create fluid tanks. I'm providing water to these from an aqueous accumulator, and I'm supplying charcoal from my tree farm. 9 steam engines are attached to the side of the boiler, and they're connected together by a conveyor belt. These all go into a rotation speed controller set to 256 RPM. This allows us to spin the carbon brush's generator coils at max RPM into 58 fluctuated magnetite blocks, which makes me 5.8 thousand RF per tick. I'm then moving this energy to the machine using laser IO, which is a nice and convenient logistics mod that can move energy, fluids, items, whatever you want. So in this case, on the carbon brushes, I have an energy card set to extract mode, and then it is linked to a advanced laser connector. I chose the advanced connector to transport the power a longer distance. You can only connect the advanced connectors on a 1-to-1 basis to each other. We're then outputting the energy into my new 16 amp energy converter. Now that power is solved, I'll proceed to barely use it for the meantime, because I want to make a create cobbleworks. Alright, it's time to go a little bit farther outside my comfort zone. I've made a mechanical crafter setup, and this is actually my first time ever doing this. But we're going to see how this works. I would like to make a whole bunch of crushing wheels. These seem really good. Essentially, they are free macerators with 64 parallels, and they can actually go really fast. It just seems kind of OP, not going to lie. So we're going to make 8 of them right now. Oh, there it goes. We're pretty slow, though. Okay, I don't need speed for this right now. You know, create people, I kind of get it. It's kind of cool. I'll give you that. I started building out my platform for the cobbleworks and basic resource production, and I really ended up going down a huge rabbit hole with this one. Yo, I swear to God, whenever I see people playing create, These wheels are not spinning this fast. You guys are not doing it the right way. To not cause a horrific industrial incident, we're gonna turn them off for now. And I'm gonna get to work optimizing this best I can. Okay, welcome back to the point where I'm talking. I locked in these last couple hours. So I guess we'll start from the beginning. This is 32 large water wheels in a straight line just because I needed a bunch of stress units. I only know how to make a little bit or a lot of stress. I don't know how to make a system in the middle because I needed a good amount but not like an insane amount. I'm using I'm using almost exactly 16,384 stress units. I really like these rotation speed controllers because I can increase the speed gradually. I could still go up in RPMs. I could just add more water wheels and I could finish that, but I think it's fast enough as is right now. I can upgrade that when I feel like it a little bit later. I'm using 2 Aqueous accumulators to move water into 8 stone barrels, making cobblestone. This is the bottleneck right now, actually, because I'm running low on cobble from the system. I should set a little bit aside just so I have it in my AE network. We're moving cobblestone with the laser eye up to these 3 crushing wheels. First set's making dust, the second one is sand, and the third one is gravel. I also get clay and flint as a byproduct, so that's pretty nice. And then from there, we're transporting each of these 3 materials that are being sifted to their own sets of sifters, where I have 3 modular routers with activator modules in them. And the reason I have activator modules is because it allows them to right-click. And I could use auto sifters, but that's a little bit more infra than I have right now, so we'll use this kind of setup just for now. Then we collect this with a basic item collector. It goes into a barrel. So all of these crushed ores are going to a set of washers. So they're being washed and then they're being smelted right away. I'm separating sphalerite because I can get sulfur from this, and I think I would prefer to do that. But you have to forge hammer it first, and I just didn't want to build that into the system. This is going to get torn down and rebuilt with applied energistics in like probably 10 hours of gameplay anyway. So I just need something. You know, you need something down. Prevent your item cards from being sucked down into a chute, what you want to do is have a filter that is excluding item cards from it, so it'll drop everything down the chute except for your item cards, by the way. Then we have an attribute filter on a brass funnel. Same thing as we were using over there, where anything that cannot be washed farther gets sent into the next barrel, where it is then transported to either the smelter or, like I said, into this drawer for this sphalerite. From there, once it's smelted, it moves into this now very claustrophobic hallway of barrels, and we're accumulating a lot of stuff already. This hasn't even been running like an hour. Yeah, it's the same setup for sand and then for dust. To make this go a little bit faster, you want to try to offset your 3 activator modules. I tried my best, but I'm having a hard time getting the sand one to offset properly. I think the right one is a little bit slow, but the left one seems like it might be okay. I don't know, but compared to the gravel, it feels a lot slower. So I might do some more work to try to offset it better. I'm gonna have to break and replace the routers. You can definitely tell this is a bit slower. But now that we have some resources, we can get serious about expanding. I'm probably gonna be done for tonight, but I'm gonna set a lot of steel to go overnight, and then we'll see how many resources we have in all these barrels tomorrow as well, when I can get back on. It's gonna be a good weekend, I think. It is the next day, and I want to remind you to make sure that you check your settings and your FTB chunks. Make sure that the server is allowing fake players, and that you are allowing fake players in your team settings. Even though this didn't run for 24 hours, we have a lot to work with because I just edited all the footage. So yeah, we're gonna pop off real quick. The only resource constraint left is rubber, but I'll solve that with more machines too. The overall goal right now is to make rubber and circuits cheaper. I made an alloy smelter first to help make rubber sheets. There's a better method to make rubber, but to get there you need to make rubber in the first place, so you can't get around this. The next 2 machines were a chemical reactor and an assembler. These 2 machines will be dedicated to rubber, with the chem reactor running the raw rubber pulp and sulfur reaction, and the assembler being on circuit 24 permanently. Now I'll need a second assembler to help improve my circuit crafting. This will often contain glue, but sometimes it needs other liquid metals, so we're gonna have to make an extractor. In modern versions of GregTech, the fluid extractor and the regular extractor are combined into one machine. To counteract any fluid extractor mistakes, and to further improve the rubber supply, I made a fluid solidifier. Its main use is to buff rub rubber sheets, because in LV, you can manually coat most of the wires that you need. The next machine was a centrifuge, which is going to create that raw rubber pulp and also glue, which is used for resistors. Let us review the new recipes for the circuits. Obviously 1x red alloy cables, we have infinite rubber sheet and red alloy wire now, so that's no problem. For the vacuum tubes, we can use red alloy to get 3 of them. Once I can get annealed copper, we can get 4 of them, which is even nicer. For circuit boards, this is a long recipe. It's going to take 10 seconds for each of them, but you can make it with wood planks, copper foil, and glue. Since copper is infinite and I already make huge batch crafts of copper wire, I might just keep using this recipe. For resistors, we at least simplify the recipe a little bit. Just find copper wire and charcoal dust with glue and you get 2 resistors. The next upgrade again is annealed copper. This requires oxygen in an arc furnace. It's kind of tough to justify at LV, but I'll consider it. With all those optimizations combined, we can now very easily craft LV circuits. You know what else is really easy to craft? The LV energy hatch. This is crazy. It's basically nothing. Yeah, I'll take 16 of these. So in that case, we'll start making multi-blocks. The first multis I want to make are going to be a quad EBF and some rock filtrators. Both of which need copper nickel coils, but they're easy to make, so we'll make a stack of them right off the bat. I'm going to lay my EBFs on the side to make it easier to access the I/O. This barrel is directly on top of the output bus, which is shared by all 4 of them. On the other side here, we have an input hatch shared by all 4. We'll probably need more input hatches, but this is just for now. And then we have 2 input buses. If you turn off the working mode of them, it won't pull in your item card automatically anymore. So we have a barrel that's being split between both of those inputs on a round-robin basis. For some reason I didn't read the amperage on these cables. I thought it was 1:1. But a 4X cable has 16 amps. Alright, now it's time to figure out the rock filtrator. It seems like you can target certain materials if you really want them, but to start with, let's just get everything. I'll make a second floor to my resource production area. This is going to be torn down pretty soon anyways, so I don't really care if it's messy. I'm building it here so that I can borrow the gravel and sand from this previous system and use it for this one. Alright, the geodes are online. These 2 are running with gravel. This is the only LV recipe. We're just grabbing everything that we can, so we're getting realgar, sapphire, ruby, green sapphire, diamonds, and emeralds. These 2 are prepped to use sand, but this doesn't run at LV, it needs an MV energy hatch, so we'll just wait until we're ready to do that, and then we can set that up. All of the rock filtrators require distilled water to run, so I built a little setup of 4 basic distilleries that are just going to create a good amount of it. When we expand this system, we'll definitely have enough for quite a few machines. There's all the quests for the geodes. Let's see what we unlock with all of this. I think we can do aluminum now, but there is a problem that I'm completely out of steel. Thankfully, we just unlocked a much faster way to make steel, and we can break in our EBFs with it. Oxygen and wrought iron together in an EBF make a steel ingot in 15 seconds. To create the oxygen, I have a straight pipe here from a new little line that I made. This is going to turn flint straight into oxygen, and we'll also get silicon from it. First, you macerate the flint to create flint dust, then you centrifuge it to get silicon dioxide, and then you electrolyze that to get silicon dust and oxygen gas. There's more gases that are useful for the EBF than oxygen, but for now this is what we need the most of, so we'll just hard pipe this and let it run for a while. The primitive blast furnaces are being retired. And there we go, our EBFs are finally running. Just make sure you hold your breath when you open up the output chest. Alright, I think that's going to do it for this episode. We got a lot of stuff done. Next time we'll start MV, and I'm pretty sure we unlock AE2, so I'll be able to do some auto crafting, and maybe we'll start building the base. But we'll deal with that later. Until next time guys, thank you all for watching, and have a good day.